Welcome back to another episode of the Personal Foul Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Gesser. Alongside me is my co-host, Phil. Phil, how the hell are you? Welcome back to New Jersey.
Thank you very much. Chicago is a fun city. They treated the genius with class and respect as well. They should have. It was a good time. Good time had by all.
I'm glad you had a good time. Before we get into our deep dive of sports here, definitely want another sad show. We love having sad shows ever since we started doing these
I know.
podcasts. Had sad loss of Pete Rose and Matemi Mutombo. Rest in peace to those two. We'll talk a little bit about both of those. I want to give you the floor on that because I have a very simple word. And it's a shame that I jumped to this right away. As soon as I saw the news of Pete Rose passing last night, instantly, first thing I said was, it wasn't, rest in peace. First thing I said out of my mouth was, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Because that's exactly what baseball is going to do. Damn shame that he had to pass for them to put him in the Hall of Fame. But that's exactly what's going to end up happening, at least in my opinion. I think they wanted to stick it to him, and they did stick it to him, and now they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. The Baseball Hall of Fame is a joke. Out of all the Hall of Fames, this is clearly the worst when it comes to Hall of Fames. The way they have certain guys in, certain guys not in, it's a disgrace. I could go on and on. I want to put my thoughts and prayers to their families. So I don't want to jump on baseball all on this. I could do that in another show, but it's a damn shame about the passing of Pete Rose and Matemi Mutombo.
Dikembe Mutombo is a saint. The man did so much for not only his home country, for the entire continent of Africa. He gave and gave and gave so much. I didn't even know he had brain cancer. I mean, a horrible thing to happen to a wonderful human being. Speaking of wonderful human beings, Pete Rose, I mean, God rest his soul. Let's not martyrize this guy. I mean, he bet on the game. I disagree with you. I don't think he'll ever be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's bad enough they're letting these roid heads in the Hall of Fame, a.k.a. Pudge Rodriguez, Ricky Henderson, et cetera, David Ortiz. But, I mean, Shoeless Joe Jackson is not in the game. And if you're not putting Jackson in the game, you're definitely not putting Rose in the game. And he bastardized the game more than Jackson did. Jackson's the all-time leading hitter. It's funny. You got the all-time leading average hitter and the all-time hits leader. Neither of them are in the Hall of Fame. But Rose, I mean, he bet on baseball. How do you put him in there? He tainted the game. Not only that, I'm not going to get into his personal life, but let's just say I'm leaving him out. I have no qualms about him being not in the Hall of Fame. You have to represent yourself as a baseball player, and he didn't do it.
Well, we disagree on that. I think Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. All-time hit leader. How the heck is that not in your Hall of Fame? Sure, gambling. I mean, now we're talking about a world where gambling is everywhere. It is literally thrown in our face. You have seventh inning stretches where it pops up during the ball game. Hey, come check out our sports book at the stadium. It is everywhere.
On his team.
Again, I'm not agreeing with everything he did. I'm not agreeing, but
there are rules in place. He did not follow them.
Yeah, well, there's rules on steroids, and how'd that work? And MLB,
exactly. I agree with you on that.
MLB hasn't taken any of those guys out of their hall.
No, and they shouldn't be. I mean, if you let these idiots in, you might as well put Bonds in, you might as well put A-Rod in, put Clemens in, put them all in at this point. You can't go half and half. That's a joke as well. We'll talk about that another day.
That exactly. You can do a whole show. That'll be.
Oh, you can do a whole damn show on that easily.
You can do a whole show on that. But again, we got a lot to talk to today. I am wearing my Yankees jersey, the number one seeded New York Yankees as playoff baseball up and running today. Let's start with awful job by baseball, but it was great for the watch with the doubleheader yesterday with the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. What were your thoughts on that first game? Holy cow, what a game. I hate the Mets, but damn, what a game and what a win for the New York Metropolitans.
It was a hell of a game because if they lost that game, they were not winning game two, and they would be sitting home right now. Lindor, I mean, yeah, he's going to get second place MVP votes. He's not getting anything like that of Ohtani. But a hell of a job by Lindor. I've always liked him. I wish the Yankees signed him. And he's a class act. He came through in the clutch. 12 runs were scored in the last 2 innings. I mean, what an atrocious job by those bullpens. Iglesias must be sick. I mean, he's been lights out all year, and then he blows it at the end. And then what's his name on the Mets?
Edwin Diaz.
Diaz. Thank you. He doesn't run to first base on that first play in the bottom of the eighth. I mean, what the hell are you doing there? This is life or death. Get your head in the game. And that implosion occurred. It was just madness. But the Mets are in. They're in Milwaukee, which kind of scares me because I think the Mets may pull us out because Milwaukee can't get out of their way in the first round. The only good thing is Counsell is not there micromanaging. So maybe the Brewers will have a chance. I hope so. The hell with the Mets. As for the Braves, I think they're going to get swept by the Padres. I don't think they have a chance. In the American League, I know
They did
it's a final. Tigers won 3-1, baby. That's right. Up your ass, Baltimore. And the Royals are winning 1-0 right now as we speak. Jeez. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you meant up Houston's ass. I think you meant up Houston.
Tigers beat the Astros. Royals are up 1-0 over Baltimore. I screwed that up. My apologies. Genius slips once in a while.
You screwing shit up? Shocker.
Once in a blue moon. Not like how you screwed your lineup up in fantasy football. I got to get phone calls at midnight from you last night. Oh, Jim Sloan cheated. Jim Sloan's a cheater. We know he's a cheater, but you screwed up as well. Learn how to set a lineup. This isn't your first fantasy league. The genius needs his rest once in a while, especially my beauty sleep.
Yeah. So, again, playoff baseball off and running. We have an early final. It is the Tigers over the Astros. Was a crazy ending. Bases loaded. 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, and the Astros don't get it done. Surprise, surprise. It's not the same old Astros that we're used to seeing. So, hopefully, a first-round exit for those cheaters in Houston. So, it's the Tigers, one of the surprises of the All-Star break push for the playoffs as they get in and are hot and stay hot. Win game one. Scooble goes 6 scoreless. It is 3-1 final. Tigers over the Astros.
I mean, imagine if Detroit kept Flaherty. That would have been a formidable team in the postseason, having that 1-2 punch.
Again, they're hot. That's not a team you want to play.
Very hot.
That's not.
I hope they play the Yankees next round. That would be nice. I'll take that.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to play the Orioles. Sounds awful as a Yankee fan, but they have the Yankees number. I do not want anything to do with the Orioles. And speaking of the Orioles, they are trailing 1-0 so far. Bottom of the 7th, they're live from Baltimore, 1-0 Royals. But we got a lot to talk about. You would think, we're going to jump all in on football today. Big week of football. We got other stuff we got to talk to first. And the NBA doesn't disappoint in the offseason. And the big news in our local market here in the metropolitan area, and that would be the New York Knicks going out and getting Karl Anthony Towns for Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle. So they break up the New York Wildcats with the Villanova boys. They break up one of those pieces, and they bring in Karl Anthony Towns, local product, Jersey kid, coming back home, playing for the New York Knicks. I know it's a mixed kind of reaction from the Knicks fans, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. I know a lot of Knicks fans don't love this deal. They don't love Karl Anthony Towns for some reason. I like Cat. If he's not your focal point guy, which he's not, it's Jalen Brunson's team. It's not Karl Anthony Towns' team. I like this move for the New York Knicks, to be honest. I think he offers you more than Julius Randle. I also don't like the way that Knicks ran out Randle. This is the guy that kind of reset the tone for the New York Knicks in their franchise, which was once a laughingstock. The last 15, 20 years, they've kind of been a laughingstock. Like the fact that it went to Linsanity. I mean, they couldn't bring in any free agents. You get Julius Randle, resets the tone, brings New York grit basketball back to the area. And again, not a shot at Julius Randle. It's what he is. He's not a guy that you can have take over a game, score a ton of points. It's not what he is. He kind of needs another guy with him. He could be a 1B, maybe a 1C. He's not the 1A guy. And the problem was he was the 1A guy, and he got New York back on the map. And as soon as Jalen Brunson came here, lights out New York Knicks. Here we go. And, again, big trade. Karl Anthony Towns, your thoughts?
My only issue with this trade is Cat is always hurt. If he's healthy, if you get a healthy year out of him in the Garden, that's going to be scary. That's going to be a very formidable team. Now, I know why the Knicks fans don't like this deal. Oh, DiVincenzo. Oh, he was so good. I mean, come on. He's a role player. Get him the hell out of here. You need stars in New York, especially in New York. You need stars. Julius Randle, a good player. I mean, I'm not calling him Dr. J, one of the great power forwards of all time, anything like that, but a very serviceable player, and he will fit well with the Timberwolves. He's going to be that gritty, dirty player that they need, right next to the big man, the defensive player of the year, Gobert. I think that's a very formidable 1-2 punch. You'll have DiVincenzo. Jesus, I can't talk today. He'll be in the backcourt as a role player. Don't smirk at me. I know you're loving this. I think it's a good trade for both teams as long as Cat stays healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, then the Knicks they're screwed.
Yeah, I think they give up a lot. I like Cat a lot. I also like DiVincenzo and what he brought to the Knicks last year. But I think it could go down as a very fair trade for both teams, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think you had to break up Cat and Gobert. I think that was time. And I think Dante DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards could be something special in Minnesota.
Well, Edwards already is something special. Now you put Randall, down on the block. That's scary. That's frightening. It's like, who are you going to guard at this point? Be a very, very interesting NBA season in Minnesota. That's a must-watch team all of a sudden. As will the Knicks, as long as Cat stays healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a fun NBA season. So we'll touch back on it later on, but we had to talk about that trade. But
yes,
again, MLB baseball off and running. Royals still up 1-0. Mets, Brewers off and running as well. And it's 1-0 Brew Crew, bottom of the first, and they have first and second with runners on. So Mets in trouble early after an exciting day yesterday in Atlanta. So we'll follow back up with that later on. That later on. But we got to talk some football. It was an exciting week 4 in the NFL. Some big news as far as injuries go. And I think the biggest of them all, actually, we'll start off with the breaking news of today, actually. And that would be the news of Davante Adams requesting a trade from the Raiders. Apparently, the Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce liked something yesterday about the fact of trading Davante Adams with him not being on the team anymore. Which I find mind-boggling. I don't know what the hell's going on there with Antonio Pierce. I don't know what he's trying to do there. But anyway, that news comes out. The Raiders go out calling teams, kind of feeling the market out, what could be, what they could receive back for Davante Adams. What are your thoughts on Davante Adams becoming available and what that could mean to another team and what, lift that getting Davante Adams could give them?
Well, it's a shame the Chiefs are in the same division with them because the Chiefs and the Raiders would make a perfect trade with Rice pretty much done for the year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell they're waiting on. That knee went about 6 inches back. That ACL's torn. I don't care what anybody says. He's done for the year. They need a big-time wide receiver. I mean, Worthy, he's the deep threat guy, but you put Adams on the Chiefs, my God, they would be unstoppable. Problem is they're not going to trade within the division unless Kansas City way overpays, which I don't think they will. I mean, other possibilities – you have to think, Atlanta could use him. I could see him down in Atlanta. I mean, Drake London, he's good, but he's like a B+ receiver. He's not that A. And I think he would benefit having Davante Adams next to him. I could see him going there. That would be a nice little fit. Somewhere else, I guess, Texans have good wide receivers. I'm just trying to think where like a good fit where Davante would be. Seattle has a ton of receivers. Miami has no quarterback. I'd love to see him on the Dolphins, but no one can throw him the damn ball. But we'll get into that later. I guess Tampa, he'd be a nice fit in Tampa too. I think you put him with Godwin and then Evans. I mean, who are you covering there? That would be a decent fit. Once again, Kansas City would be the best fit, but they're not going to trade in division.
Well, I think you're missing one of the biggest, layups of them all, and that would be my Pittsburgh Steelers, the team that went after chasing top receivers in the offseason, going after Brandon Ayuk, for Brandon Ayuk to stay in San Francisco. Steelers with George Pickens and Devontae Adams, I think that becomes one of the more elite duos, especially after seeing the performance of Justin Fields in a comeback fashion this weekend against the Colts, when everyone's been questioning Pittsburgh if they can make it interesting if they were down in a game. And Pittsburgh did make it interesting. We'll touch on that in a little bit. But again, Rashid Rice, Phil had just mentioned, the big injury of the weekend, gets hurt on an interception from Mahomes. Mahomes stops to make the tackle, like abruptly goes to the ground, takes his own man out, Rashid Rice, and likely ending a season. Again, I still don't understand why it's not confirmed. He's definitely done. The way that
that looked like Willis McGahee back in the Orange Bowl 20 years ago. Remember how grotesque that was when he got his knee bent all the way back?
Well, I mean, we saw it with Nick Chubb and Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's done for the season. So it's a shame with Rashid Rice. Having such a special season with Mahomes. Clearly, he's the number one guy. So we'll see what Kansas City ends up doing. But they always seem to put it together. So I'm not really worried about what that means for Kansas City. But we continue on around the NFL. And again,
real quick. Adams will not go to Pittsburgh for just one reason, is that he wants a quarterback to throw him the ball. Fields will not be able to reach him. There's no way in hell Adams is going to approve that. That's why I didn't put them in the fray. They could use a receiver, but I can't see that happening.
I guess you haven't watched any Justin Fields. The thing is, you like making fun of Pittsburgh, but you don't watch Pittsburgh. That's the thing. That's fun, though. That's fun and dandy. I'll let you ride with that. But let's take a look around the NFL with some of the interesting headlines here. And I feel like you got to start off with the team that's 4-0 here, and that'd be the Minnesota Vikings. I can't believe this team, the start they've had. Again, I'm not giving you your flowers again. I gave it to you last week about the Vikings.
We're done about that. We know I'm the genius. So we talked about that.
Kiss my ass. But yeah, I can't believe what's going on there in Minnesota. 4-0. They beat their division rivals in Green Bay. Green Bay did make it very interesting in the end. Jordan Love with the Brett Favre stat line there at the end with 4 touchdowns and 3 picks type of performance there from Jordan Love in his return, by the way. Called how early he'd be back, but thank you for that.
I'll give you that one.
Hat tip to myself. But yes, Minnesota, I can't believe it. 4-0. They continue on beating good teams. It's even like the thing is Minnesota's playing crap teams, beating them. Outside of the Giants, they have 3 legitimate wins. Green Bay's a very good team. San Fran's a very good team. Yes. And who the heck's their other win? I'm trying to San Francisco. San Francisco, the Giants. And they have another really good win. Who the hell's the other team? I can't believe I'm forgetting this. The Houston Texans, dismantling the Houston Texans. What are your thoughts on this hot start again from Minnesota? I just can't believe they're 4-0.
Oh, I can. They have a good team. They have a quarterback that is managing great receivers. You have Addison back in the fold now. So now you've got 3 legit wide receivers. Wait till Hawkinson gets healthy. Then who the hell are you going to cover? Darnold's in the perfect scenario right there. He just has to dink and dunk and hand the ball off to Jones, and off he goes. They have a very solid offense. Of course, they almost blew it because Brian Flores and his prevent defense in the fourth quarter, allowing Love to get almost 300 yards in the fourth quarter. Typical Brian Flores. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing as usual. If anything is going to kill the Vikings, it's going to be Brian Flores and his prevent defense when he shouldn't be playing it. But the Vikings are a very solid team all around. They got great players. I know a lot of people were down on him. It might have been a blessing that the rookie got hurt and he's out for the year. Because Darnold's a proven veteran. And you're seeing these little proven veterans all around the NFL now. You see him. You see Mr. Flacco coming back for Indy. You're seeing your boy down in Tennessee, Mason, playing for the Titans last night when Levis got hurt. Everyone can find a backup quarterback except the Dolphins for some damn reason. But Vikings, they're for real. I don't care what anybody says.
The Vikings are indeed for real. And another kind of shocking performance, and that'd be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the brakes off the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, we'll mention the Philadelphia Eagles had literally 0 wide receivers playing on Sunday for Jalen Hurts. No Devonta Smith with concussion protocol. And A.J. Brown, again, out with the hamstring problem. But Tampa Bay cleans up house and takes advantage of a very questionable Philadelphia secondary with an impressive stat line there from Baker Mayfield. I believe he threw for 3, ran in 1, threw for over 300 yards. Baker Mayfield, probably my game ball of the week for the NFL. I thought he was really impressive this weekend with the Buccaneers.
To be fair, there was no Brown, there was no Smith. That was huge for Philly. That being said, that defense was atrocious. Mayfield had 347 yards, 2 for throwing, 1 for rushing. Hurts was sacked 6 times, which was amazing. And now you have a coach on the hot seat in Philadelphia, and Mr. Sirianni. He did not sound good after that game. The media was all over him. And, if the Eagles go into a little tailspin here, Howie Rose, I can see him pulling the plug on Sirianni because him and Hurts are just definitely not on the same page. Once again, the 2 main receivers are out. But you trade for this bum from Washington. Who was that? Brown?
Jahan
Dotson. Beginning of the year?
Jahan Dotson.
Yeah. I mean, he's done nothing. Has he even caught a ball yet? The hell you trade for him for? Absolutely ridiculous. The Eagles are in trouble.
Yeah, I don't understand the Sirianni thing. I thought he was actually going to possibly get fired in the offseason. And the thing is, you're going to waste another year of this talented roster. The offensive line is going to get older. Lane Johnson's getting a year older. And you're without Jason Kelsey, and you're going to all of a sudden now wait another year to then fire Sirianni that should have been probably fired in the offseason. And you're going to have the same problems again. But, again, you mentioned Jahan Dotson and Washington. We're going to head there now. Another impressive performance from the rookie. Right now, he's got to be in pole position for Rookie of the Year, and that'd be one LSU man, Jaden Daniels, 42-14 win over the Arizona Cardinals. This was the week I picked Arizona in my other podcast. We pick every single game. I picked Arizona. I'm like, all right, this is the game you got to pick Arizona. Then find out that you're not in on Arizona, and then they are a dumpster fire. Like the week 1 game against Buffalo where they were in it was definitely bull. Then the blowout of the Rams, that was bull. Yeah, it's bull. They suck. But the real story is Jaden Daniels and those Commanders that continue to get the offense up and running there as he's getting more and more confidence getting the ball down the field. What were your thoughts on, again, a huge win there for the Commanders that, again, are proving that they might be a playoff team this year?
I wish you knew you were in a pool or you're in your podcast where you pick all the games because I won my pool last night. Mr. Mike Melanson, that's right. I beat you. That's too bad. I won the $200. You suck. Anyway, back to the game. Daniels, the only person in NFL history with 4 rushing touchdowns and the 80% completion percentage through his first 4 games, which is mind-boggling impressive. This guy is the real deal. I hope he stays healthy. He's fun to watch. The more imposing question is, what the hell is wrong with Kyler Murray? This guy is turned into a bum. He's got Marvin Harrison. All right, granted, he lost his tight end. He was out this week. McBride, he had a concussion, but he looks lost out there. I mean, James Conner still put up a decent game, but Murray's not accurate. The defense is just porous in Arizona. I mean, it might be time for Murray to get a change of scenery. Maybe Miami, but he needs to go.
Yeah, I don't understand the Kyler Murray thing. Like, he had that week 2 explosion against the Rams where he lit him up like the 4th of July. He had like 300 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
3 scores. Like, that game was over in the first half. And then, like, ever since, he's been dormant. And again, the Commanders' defense isn't good. And he really didn't do anything against them. So it's like really head scratching there. I don't understand what's going on with the Cardinals. I think they're kind of lost in a really weird spot where, again, you mentioned a change of scenery for Kyler. The problem is that contract's not great, but it might be time for a change of scenery for Kyler Murray because I don't know what
Murray right now.
I hear you. I think it'd be fun to watch that with Kyler Murray run around. Then slinging the ball to Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. But again, speaking of your Dolphins, we'll slide our way into South Beach with a disgusting performance Monday night from the Fins. The floor is yours. It's your team, man. I'll give you the floor here to vent.
I mean, at halftime, I got to hear Mike McDaniel say, we got to go out there and chop wood, which I can't stand that cliche. And then you go out there and just lay a huge, big, massive dump on the Dolphin logo at the 50-yard line. That's what that was last night. I watched every play. I wanted to throw up every play. When the hell did the Dolphins decide to get all conservative? I'd rather see Huntley throw 40 times. All right, if he throws some interceptions, whatever, I can deal with that. It's a complex offense, whatever. You can't keep handing the ball off to a rookie running back who has zero offensive line. I mean, I already went off on the offensive line last week. I'm not going to get into that again. McDaniels is awful. He needs to be more aggressive. He gets all cute with all the moves and all the rotations and all this other nonsense, and you get Tyreek Hill the ball 6 times. You get your best player the ball 6 times. Yeah, granted, I was pissed off with him with that fumble in the beginning of the game, which I said the game was lost right then and there. I mean, you can't give the Tennessee Titans that much, leeway. You can't give him any opportunities. You get Will Levis hurt, you knock him out of the game. You would think the Dolphins would blitz the rest of the game and screw up Mason, your boy from Pittsburgh, because he's a terrible quarterback. But no, Dolphins rush 3, Dolphins rush 4. They give him all this time. He makes all these nice little completions. He has a nice manageable game. The Dolphins stink on both sides of the ball. It is time. It is time. It is time. Trade them all. Get a 1 for Waddle. Get a 1 for Achen. Get a 1 for Hill. Get rid of Greer so he knows how to draft an offensive line, because the offensive line has been so damn porous under him for the past, 8 years now. It's Swiss cheese at its finest. There's so many damn holes in that line. It is pathetic. It is time to get rid of him. It is time to get a good coach in there. It is time to get a good quarterback in there. And it's time to get a good offensive line in there. It's just time. It's so sad. Lose every game. Get Cam Ward in there from Miami. Let him be the quarterback. That's who I want. Suck for Cam.
Yeah, again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you just gave Mike McDaniel an extension, and Tua's got a big contract. So I don't think any of those are happening.
I don't care. Get rid of them. They're done. Tua can't play in the big game anyway. He stinks in a big game. I don't want to see it no more. All right, he's going to come back. He's going to get healthy. Oh, he's going to beat up the Patriots. Oh, he's going to beat up the Jets because they're terrible teams. Oh, but he's going to go against Buffalo and get destroyed again because he is a deer in headlights. He chokes in a big spot, just like your Pittsburgh Steelers did yesterday.
Hardy, har, Phil. You're fantastic with that. But again, yes, the Steelers did lose 27-24. Anthony Richardson gets hurt early in the game. They end up coming back, making it interesting. It's 17-0 for the Colts early on. Could not do anything offensively. Colts are rolling offensively. Steelers' offense sucks. Colts' offense looked great with the injury after Anthony Richardson goes down the field, scores a touchdown. They go down the field again. He gets lit up like the 4th of July by Minkah Fitzpatrick. He gets hurt, hip pointer. He's done for the game. They bring back in Joe Flacco. Shocker, Joe Flacco against Pittsburgh. He ends up having a good game. Lights up Pittsburgh secondary. Definitely threw off Pittsburgh, and he delivers the goods for the Colts. And again, the Steelers did make it interesting. Again, there's a lot of people that were jumping, the fake Steeler fans were jumping onto Twitter saying, oh, we need it. Is it time to see what's behind door number 2 with Russell Wilson? Hell no. Not for me, coach. I'm still all in on Justin Fields.
Ends up with over you fraud.
Me? Absolutely not. 315 yards for Justin Fields.
Come on. You were all Wilson in the beginning of the year.
No, I was all in on Wilson when they named him the starter. Like, clearly, I mentioned to you before we even got into the regular season, I want to see Justin Fields. But again, if the Steelers are naming Russell Wilson, I want the Steelers to win. I don't give a crap who the quarterback is. I want to win and see good quarterback play. And sorry to tell you, it ended up being Justin Fields. And I'm very excited with him being 10 years younger than Russell Wilson. I'm all in on Justin Fields. Ends up throwing for 315, throws a touchdown pass, runs in for 2 scores, runs for over 50 yards. Justin Fields is quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hopefully he proves it again Sunday night at home against the Dallas Cowboys. And he cements his name as the Steelers quarterback for the rest of the season. And Russell Wilson possibly gets dealt to the Miami Dolphins to save their season down in South Beach.
Yeah, I'd give up a 4th round for him instantly. Right this second.
Yeah, again, I think it makes a lot of sense possibly with Russell Wilson going to South Beach to save the season. We'll talk a little bit more as things maybe go that way. But, yeah, we'll take another look around the NFL. Yeah, I am indeed back. I had some camera issues there. I was trying to figure them out. But
Yeah,
again,
we'll
take we'll take a look around the rest of the NFL here on some games. Young Hoku with a walk-off field goal there for Arnie Lauer. Big A.
Big A!
Big A in those
58-yard
Atlanta
field goal. He was
Falcons.
here. It was on Snapchat. If you
It
follow me on
wasn't-
Snapchat, you could have seen it.
It was indeed on Snapchat. Falcons win 26-24. Get back in the winning ways. I'm not talking about him yet till I see a little bit more out of him. The Bayou Bengals, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase winning Carolina 34-24. That game is a lot closer than that 10-point score shows. Got to tell you, Panthers look a lot different with Andy Dalton in the gun there. So Chicago gets a win over the lonely Rams 24-18 as Caleb Williams finally throws a touchdown pass, and they win there in Chicago. 49ers piss on the Patriots 30-13. And probably the other big story of the NFL, and I think it's turning into a hot story. Again, we talked about Devontae Adams, but the Raiders do win 20-16 over the lonely Cleveland Steamers and the Cleveland Browns. I got to tell you, I think there's some big conversations going on in Cleveland about Jameis Winston. I don't understand how piss poor this offense looks. I mean, they look a lot better with every other damn quarterback under the sun they end up throwing in there in Cleveland, outside of Deshaun Watson. What the hell is going on in Cleveland? I loved it as a Steeler fan, loving seeing this shit show in Cleveland. But what a disaster for the Cleveland Browns. I don't understand what the hell's going on in Cleveland with Deshaun.
He's done. He's toast. I mean, he's mini Tua. He can't play a big game to save his life. Look at that game, that last drive against the Raiders. The Raiders, terrible. They lost to Carolina the week before. You think, okay, we got an easy win against the Raiders. You got a game-winning drive set up. He can't even throw the ball in the last play of the game. He gets sacked again. I mean, Watson's just completely lost. He needs to get the hell out of Cleveland. The problem is that contract's way too big. Nobody is going to take it. Halsom's not going to eat $240 million, whatever the hell he's paying. He's their quarterback for the future. There's no getting around it. I mean, Flacco, you saw what a great job he did last year for them. And, I mean, Cleveland is toast. And I don't know. There's a lot of problems there. The Raiders, yeah, they played a good game. I mean, it was a good bounce-back game. I thought their season was done last week after getting humiliated by the Panthers. But, Antonio Pierce is a good coach, and he got them going. So, kudos to them.
Kudos to them is right. And probably the big shocker of the week, and that would be the beatdown that the 3-0 Buffalo Bills took in Baltimore. Baltimore seeming to get back on track here the last 2 weeks as they finally get the Derrick Henry experience going for the NFL to see what it looks like in Baltimore as they beat the piss out of the Buffalo Bills 35-10. I know you're smiling over there as Buffalo gets the brakes beaten off of them. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Is this what we expected from the Ravens from the start of the gate this season? I know they had a tough one out of the chute and a few inches away from coming back and possibly winning that game against the Chiefs opening night.
Yeah,
but the Ravens seem to be back. 2 straight wins here off the rip for the Ravens.
No, I don't think they went anywhere. I just, I had a little bad luck in the beginning. I mean, and it's not Lamar Jackson's team. It's King Henry's team, okay? They go as far as Henry takes them. That guy is a beast. 199 yards. He set the tone the first play of the game. Boom! He was gone. 80 yards. That's too bad, Buffalo fans. Too bad, Ryan McPartland. Your Bills, once again, chokers. Like I called it last week. The genius called it. Buffalo was going to get destroyed, and they did. Why? Because they can't show up in a big game against the Chiefs or against the Ravens, and sometimes the Bengals. They can't beat the top-tier teams. They beat the middle teams. They beat the lower teams. They can't beat the upper echelon, and that's the problem with Buffalo.
That is indeed the problem with the Buffalo Bills. And, again, it was a nice, fun week 4 in the NFL. We'll take another look here at the scores. Oh, baby. I know the Mets fans are going to be happy here. We're going to take another look around the MLB here before we jump into our week 5 of Beat the Genius, and we get a recap.
Oh, we got one more game to cover you had not touched on yet.
What would that game be, Phil?
That would be the Jets and the Broncos.
Oh,
Thank God the genius is here to save the show. Hello, Jet fans. You lost to the Broncos. You lost 10-9 to the Denver Broncos. It was one of the most embarrassing losses I've ever seen the Jets play. Oh, yeah, fireman out up there slipping down off his pole because it was so wet out there. That's too damn bad. The Jets stink. Aaron Rodgers stinks. Roger Saloff needs to be fired. I don't know what the hell they're waiting on with him. He is so terrible. What's he, like a 30% winning percentage with the Jets? He is god-awful. They are wasting Aaron Rodgers, and I love every second of it. And like I said in the beginning of the year, you're going to have bad games out of Aaron Rodgers because I don't think he's 100% healthy from a couple of years ago. But too bad, Jet fans. You all thought, oh, yeah, we're going to be 3-1. We're going to the Super Bowl again. We're the Jets, Jets. No, S-U-C-K. You guys suck.
I'm 2,000% clipping that. That was absolutely amazing. Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. Denver with an all-time stat line at the half from Bo Nix. I think he completed 10 or 12 passes, and he still had negative yards.
-7 yards at the half, and they won.
And they did indeed.
That's right.
The freaking Jets. You can't you know it's going to happen because it's the Jets. They're just tainted and cursed. I don't understand it.
Too bad.
All you can do is laugh.
Oh, Nick stinks, by the way. He's awful. I mean, my God.
I told you he sucks.
Well, you said to start him in the beginning of the year, and I said start Stidham. And now
you got to start him. You should
have started Stidham.
No, Sean Payton doesn't have the time of day, and apparently he does when he beats the Jets. God, he talked all that shit about Nathaniel Hackett.
Which is the right move.
Talked all that shit about Nathaniel Hackett. And the Jets, we're going to show Sean Payton. Okay, 9 points later.
Yeah, against the Broncos. Oh, what a disgrace the Jets are. That's a shame. Too bad, Jet fans. You guys suck.
All right, so again, before we get into Beat the Genius, we'll jump back to playoff baseball here. It is still 1-0 Royals, top of the ninth. The Mets with a big comeback again, just like the Atlanta game. Bottom of the second, it's 3-2 New York. Looks like we got another exciting game from the Mets and Brewers, so can't wait to watch.
I have no faith in the Brewers getting out of round one. Every year they win that garbage division and then fail in round one to a better wild card team. It's every year. I was kind of hoping the Mets would go to San Diego because I thought that would have been a really good series. That would have went 3 easily. But yeah, maybe we'll get them in the next round because they should both win. Well, not the next round. The NLCS, that's when they would meet.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, what you've all been waiting for, we're looking ahead to week 5 in the NFL. But let's recap an awful week 4 of picks of Beat the Genius. I go 0-3. The damn Cowboys and Aubrey missed a field goal. Mr. Automatic of the season. He surely misses a field goal to save everyone's bets on Thursday Night Football. He blows it. I blow it. I picked the Steelers. Egg on my face with that one. And I go 0-3 in picks. And Phil Sitta, the man of Beat the Genius, finally takes his lead of the season on me as he goes 3-0 in the week. Phil, hate to say it, the floor is yours as you go 3-0 this week.
What's the season records right now?
You're up 3. This is we were literally tied. Now you have a 3-game buffer.
Oh, we were tied. Okay. Are any of the fans out there ahead of me? Probably not.
No, we've only had Trimble try to keep up, but he did not get in last week. So that's, again, you're up by default.
That's too bad. I'm going to have to drink that 30-pack by myself. Let's go, people. You want beer? Let's go. Start making your picks. I know you're like, oh, Jesus, the genius. How the hell am I going to beat this guy? He's so damn good. I am the genius. But let's go to our picks this week. So we are going to start with I love the Vikings this week. Love them this week. -2.5. Is that what you have?
Yes.
Against the Jets? I lost your sound.
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay. So -2.5. I'm taking Minnesota. That's easy money. I think we're going to crush the Jets. I can see an embarrassment of a game coming on here for them. Because Aaron Rodgers is not going to like that turf out there. He doesn't like being all inconvenienced, being in Europe and all that other nonsense. I see a double-digit win for the Vikings. Take the money and run on that one. Number 2, I got the Bears, -3.5 over Carolina. I'm not as confident with this one. Is that what you have? 3.5?
I have 4. I'm seeing.
You have 4? All right, I'll still take the 4. I'll go with the half point. If I push, I push. I try to do the half games to show what a true genius I am. I don't like pushing. But I do like the Bears. I think they're at home to Carolina. No, I think they're on the road at Carolina, but I still think they're going to beat them. I thought they had a very good game last week. They were a little more in sync. Williams looked a little better. I think they're going to take it to the Panthers. And then the last game. Oh, you're not going to like this one. Dallas plus the points. 2.5. Is that what you have? 2.5?
I do have that.
2.5, baby. Win outright. Money line. Take the money line. Dallas. They are going to wake up. They love playing on Sunday Night Football. Josh Fields is going to have the spotlight on him, and he's going to shrink just like Colton's picks. It's going to be 0-3. That's right. Squash him like a grape.
Alrighty, so Phil goes Vikings minus 2.5, Bears minus 4, and Dallas plus 2.5. I'm going to start off my picks here, and I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers at LA minus 3.5. I think Green Bay bounces back. We're finally going to see what Jordan Love is. He's finally back and ready to get the season off and running after an injury in week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles. So give me go Pack go. Minus 3.5 on the road against the lonely LA Rams. I'm then going to take I'm going to take the Steelers minus 2.5 at home Sunday night.
Of course you are, you homer.
Of course I am. That's fine. You
So
homered it up.
One battle.
Oh, that's hilarious. So I'm going to earn my game back here. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 2.5 against the Dallas Cowboys Sunday Night Football. Steelers defense is the reason why the Steelers lost to the Colts on Sunday. Yes. I think the Steelers, every time the Steelers have gotten punched in the mouth defensively, they always bounce back big time. The following week, I think they bounce back big against Dallas Sunday Night Football. I think it's also big with no Micah Parsons and no DeMarcus Lawrence for the Cowboys. I know the Steelers' O-line is banged up, but I think the Steelers' offensive line is going to be able to put it together with a beat-up front for Dallas. I think Justin Fields is going to continue to show that he's starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the rest of the season, and it is his job, not Russell Wilson's job. So I'm taking the Steelers minus 2.5. So me and Phil head-to-head in that game. Yes. And I'm going to round out my picks here with this week. What am I doing here?
Oh, you don't even have your picks ready. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get backdoored on that.
Ram. No, I'm looking at the spreads here, and I'm going to take Buffalo. I don't love it. It's probably
I couldn't touch that game.
Yeah, I know it's not a game I want to touch, but I'm going to touch it anyway. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills minus 1. I believe that game's in Houston. I think Buffalo got embarrassed in prime time. I think they bounced back against the Houston Texans. Again, we've had a lot of questions about the Houston Texans. They just squeak out against a garbage, again, division rival, sure, keep that what you will. But I think Jacksonville sucks nuts. They lost, but it was a close game, and it needed a little C.J. Stroud magic at the end. I think Buffalo got humiliated Monday night. I think they bounce back, and they win over the Houston Texans. So our roundup on picks here, as Phil has a 3-game lead, he takes the Minnesota Vikings early Sunday morning in the London game against the Jets minus 2.5. He takes the Chicago Bears and the Painting Nails fella and Caleb Williams minus 4. And he takes the Dallas Cowboys plus 2.5. For the leader in the clubhouse right now, Phil Sitta. I am taking the Green Bay Packers minus 3.5. I'm taking Pittsburgh in a game against Phil minus 2.5. And I'm taking Buffalo to cover against the Houston Texans. So that is Beat the Genius. Phil, another great show in the books.
It was a great
show.
Baseball
is hot and heavy here.
3-0 victory with a little bit of good scotch right now. That's right. I deserve
celebrating early, Phil. That's fine by me. I am the king of comebacks when it comes to picks, so I usually end up on top. Right. Again, I'm going to be glad to be back, even in level with you next week after I kick your ass in picks this week. So that's fine and dandy. So appreciate
it. Calling me at midnight, screaming, "Oh, illegal lineup! Get your lineup set." I don't want to hear any more of that crap for fantasy football. I can't help it that you stink.
CBS just sucks. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it should not lock 5 minutes before the game starts. We all know games kick off like 1:06. Why the hell is it locking before 1 o'clock?
Relax.
So anyway, CBS sucks. I'm Colton. That's Phil. This is the Personal Foul Podcast. We'll be back again next week covering Week 5 in the NFL and all of the playoff baseball and any other news that hits the airwaves around the sporting world. So we'll take a look again. Phil's touching his chest there, which is a little weird, but he's taking his Islander shit there. So we'll take a little peek at the NHL as it's getting ready to get started. As the Devils play Buffalo, in Czechia to start off the season.
That's right. They're over there. I forgot about that.
Yes. So the global series starts, I believe, Friday early. I think that's at 1 o'clock. Puck drop there in Czechia. So we'll check in on the NHL and get a little preview of that.
Yes, I'll give you my predictions for that as well, because I am the genius in that as well.
Yeah, I bet you are. And let's go Devils. So again, I'm Colton. That's Phil. This is the Personal Foul Podcast. Appreciate you all as always. Again, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Personal Foul Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Personal Foul Pod. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll be back again next week to recap all of the sporting news. Thank you again for listening.
Go Yankees!